Well, folks, we are in game two, and Brett lost on a one lander in game one, and now he has kept a 5 card hand. Now, I will say, in our round three match against him, he kept a 4 card hand against me. Spreading seized my scrub land. I played a forest and then a scrubland with my junk knights deck, and I never drew another land. And he had a lord and ended up drawing into another lord and took the game down pretty quickly. Kuma is noting that Edison just started playing Tribal this month. I guess got introduced to it from some of the people in the Commander event. And Brett apparently just started in the last couple of days. He said he saw some of these videos that I post and got interested in it. I guess read the articles and decided to throw a deck together. So glad to have both these guys here. I mean, these are both solid decks. These are decks you can improve, work upon over time. Spreading Sea's going to be nice, I think, against the rather haphazard mana base that those slivers are using. So if you are watching these videos, reading these articles, and haven't played in the event yourself, look, these are two completely new players, and they managed to run undefeated through the Swiss. I mean, it does happen. Next week's event will be an endangered species event, so remember you'll have to look and find your tribes that are either less than 50 members, have been played less than 5 times in the event, or have never won the event. All those categories are linked to in the article from the main event sheet. If you're coming from Gatherling, you can find that on the, I guess, the event report. Well, from somewhere from the event report sheet, you can find that information as to which qualify. Clot Sliver is going to come down. Regeneration, not usually very good in Tribal Wars. However, as always, when you come to pure Tribal event, the absence of all the white exiling spells makes it considerably stronger. So we're still lagging a little bit here, and I apologize for that. I'm going to try to keep this interesting. The Clot Sliver is going to poke in for 1. Couple tech edges there. Now, Brett mulled to 5, doesn't seem to have any action. And he's not in a bad spot here necessarily. He has managed to screw with Edison's mana, and once Edison kind of digs him out of the mana, he is using some weird, like Ancient Ziggurats and Vivid Lands and stuff that those tech edges might be able to come at. And of course, remember, if your opponent gets to 4 lands, you can double tech edge them by retaining priority when you activate the first one. So, what a weird finals. So yeah, game 1, Brett in Memphis with his Merfolk deck never finds a second land in 4 or 5 turns, and loses quickly to a Might Sliver. This game, Edison can't find his third land. And so much like in, well, now he has found a third land. I would help it, but much like in my game, Brett drawing himself out of trouble after a mulligan and with stifling his opponent's mana. Thank you for the island, Edison says. Now I think Brett might have some counter magic here. I know he has Remove Souls and Mana Leaks, either of which would do it here. Spell Pierce would not. In fact, Spell Pierce seems overall terrible against Edison's deck. One of the reasons I don't like playing it in Tribal. And however, again, in pure Tribal, a little bit different because the removal spells are going to be more expensive that people are playing. And so if the idea is I can drop a Lord and protect him, you may be able to drop a Lord and let's say turn 3 on the play, you drop Lord of Atlantis, they try to Doomblade it or Ultimate Price it, Go for the Throat it, whatever. All those 2-mana black removal spells you're going to be able to pick off with the Spell Pierce, whereas you would have less success. People can play around it more easily with Source Plowshare's Path to Exile. So once again, that's the example of the kind of card that sometimes gets better in pure Tribal. Yeah, I don't know how often people really think about the differences in pure Tribal. Not just which tribes are going to be absent. You don't necessarily have to worry about goblins and elves, but beyond that, just the fact that some cards are much stronger in the absence of the 1-mana white exilers that are all over the place in regular. Excuse me. All right, so here comes a Lord of Atlantis. I don't know what, if any, creature removal is going to be in Edison's deck. Brett had a good matchup against a blue-black fairies list in round 2 that I was able to watch a little bit of. The island walking definitely did him some work there. So, here comes that Spinneret Sliver, because woohoo, reach. Extremely relevant in this game where he controls an island and his opponent has the Lord of Atlantis. Also, no flyers. Would have been nice against Fairies list, though. Not a lot of flying tribes that get played regularly other than Fairies. You occasionally see decks with Lingering Souls, Spectral Procession, that kind of thing. That has been a lot of the white weenie decks will play that. So there are certainly places where giving your guys reach is relevant. That said, I think I would just rather have almost anything else here. Brett's saying he never expected to see Slivers. So here's a hard cast Silvergill Adept. Brett obviously drawing a lot of lands off of his original mold of 5. So it looked like Brett was gonna draw out of this and take control. See now. See, here's where I'm thinking, what did he just play this turn? He played the Ancient Ziggurat. See, now I'm wondering if he has a second Might Sliver. What I would like to see is if he's got a Vapor Snag something, and then double Tech Edge, the Plateau, and the Ziggurat, and just bomb Edison's mana back to the Stone Age here. But unfortunately, now he's in a position where I don't think he can do that because Edison's board position is too good here. If he'd had a Vapor Snag, I think that might have been a play you could make. But at the moment, it looks like that, depending on what's in his hand here. But I mean, he doesn't need this many. Well, let's see. I wonder if he's doing it. Did Brett keep priority? Yeah, okay. Brett kept priority. So he may be doing that play. Misclicked there nicely. What? No? Oh, okay. Yeah, he got it. He got it. Okay, so there's the double bomb. which again I think is a fine play with the exception that it's using most of his mana this turn and not improving his board at all, unless the only thing he wants to do here is race, but I think he's in trouble on a race. Let's see, he goes down to 14, even assuming blanks over here. Oh, wow, he must have targeted the wrong land. Oh, he targeted his own tech edge. That was rough. Okay, so a misclick there from Brett. Otherwise, he would have left Edison a long way away from being able to cast some of his higher curve spells, and this deck very likely has several. The presence of a red land in there would tend to indicate to me possibly, oh, he's got Fury Sliver here. That one's brutal. Bone Splitter Sliver, that sort of thing. I like the sliver that gives all the other slivers haste. Really, the only one I like in red. The others are a bit too expensive for my taste. Certainly against a deck that you expect to have counter magic. So the Lord, of course, does not give itself Island Walk and had to stay back. Don't know if Brett may have cryptic commands in his deck. It's possible, but anyways, here comes 5, 7 damage coming in. Now, if there's a follow-up play here too, and Brett doesn't have removal, now Gemhide Sliver is going to help his mana. He'd be able to cast pretty much anything he wanted on the next turn. And Brett does not have nearly enough pressure on the board at this point to make a difference here. Let's see what this next play. Another Gemhide Sliver? Well, it doesn't really need that. Except I guess he can use both of those to act as little Utopia trees over there. Curse Catcher, which is pretty much going to hit nothing, as I still haven't seen a non-creature spell out of the Sliver deck here. I don't know, the way it's looking right now, I think we're going to see a new player with basically a Sliver Precon deck take down the event. Just completely unknown. And it looks like Brett's going to scoop here. He doesn't think he can get back in at this point. Bad keep on one land, 3/1 drops. That was his game one, I guess. So, anyways, sorry that wasn't very exciting, but hey, new player taking down the event with this Precon Sliver deck with a few tweaks to it, and you never know what you're going to see, and so hey, if you've been watching these videos and thinking about popping in the event, you could put something together pretty affordable. I mean, buy a Sliver Precon deck and add, a $5 dual land and, a couple of 20-cent Sinew Slivers, and maybe you're there. So, anyways, thanks for joining me for my coverage of the finals this week.